We just pulled away from port. I haven't eaten anything today. I ate my breakfast at 8:30 and that's all I've eaten today. So this ship has 600 more passengers on it this sailing than last week's sailing, so it's going to be much busier. So I got 2 appetizers for dinner and some chicken piccata. I'm so hungry. Tomorrow's Great Stirrup Key. I'm going to bring my mermaid tail back out. We'll see how busy the beach is with an extra 500-600 guests on board.
Yeah,
see how busy that is. I don't even know if you can hear me right now because it's kind of loud in here. But I expect this to be loud, not the bistro. And we are listing to the right very heavily. Here's a piece from each of David's medallion pieces. One is clearly more rare than the other. Yeah. So as we were leaving Manhattan room, the captain came over the intercom and said that due to rough seas, they're having to cancel Great Stirrup Key tomorrow. So we're disappointed because we love Great Stirrup Key, but at least we got it once. But they're replacing it with Nassau, Bahamas, and we'll be there like all day, from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So that's nice. So we are booking it to the excursion table because we want to go
To the water park.
to the water park at Atlantis. That's something we've been wanting to do.
Want to slide through the sharks?
Yeah, so we're gonna see if they have the excursions ready, and they said they are gonna be giving out new freestyle dailies and all that. So, oh my God, the line is huge. They have a thing. They have a queue set up because they know everybody's gonna want to book new excursions. Okay, so just came up to the room from the chaos that was the shore excursions, but it's $219 per adult, and it was just so expensive. So it was 6.5 hours long. We didn't really have much time to discuss it or really like think about the pros and cons. We know what's at Atlantis. Like, we've been wanting to go there for years, but that was just too expensive. And then we also thought, well, maybe I've been wanting to try scuba diving. David has no interest in scuba diving, so maybe I could go a beginner scuba diving class and David could just stay on the ship. $200. So we're like, oh God, this is less than $200. So there were 2 beach, like basically a beach day, like you go to a beach resort, and one was further away but cheaper. One was closer, more expensive, and came with lunch. And the staff member essentially said the price difference was really just lunch, and that the lunch wasn't worth the price difference. That we could probably buy a cheaper lunch, like at the other place. And she said the one that was further away was a little bit more, from what her research and like knowing and like what people say, the one we picked was more for adults and less family friendly. And the one that was closer, even though it was more expensive, was more like for families. So we decided, blind, with no research, which absolutely drives me insane because I am a planner, I am a tasker, like I want to research every little thing. We decided to do Balmoral Island beach break. Know absolutely nothing about it. Haven't seen any pictures, haven't done anything, but it is a 4.5 hour tour. So, yeah, we're kind of, Jesus. This ship is like rocking, you guys. The second we got out of the port of Miami, we were already rocking. And I think I mentioned when we were in the Manhattan room, we were like listing to one side, it felt like Jesus. We are shaking. This is nuts. This is rough. But no wonder we had to cancel Great Stirrup Key. Like, we're not even a few miles, like, we can still see Miami, like, the lights and everything from Miami. And this ship is like vibrating and shaking. I'm very sad that Atlantis was so pricey though. But we just couldn't, you know, $219 a person. That's a lot of money for a water park. That's just a lot of money. It's $119 for kids. Like, that's a lot. So we're just gonna go in blind, knowing nothing, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna go to the silent disco, and David's gonna be at the spa the rest of the night. And that's pretty much it before we call it a night and just go to bed, figure out everything in the morning, and just fly by the seat of our pants and just go where the wind takes us. So see you guys later. Bye. Oh my god. You probably cannot see me at all. But I came to the silent disco, David to the spa, and I ran into some family members. Neither one of us knew that we were going to be on this cruise. And we just bumped into each other on the dance floor. We just kind of stared at each other and we're like, the fuck you doing on this cruise ship? So it goes to show you just how small this world is. You just don't know who you're going to run into. This is just an example of how young this cruise is comparatively to last week. Well, good morning, Nassau, Bahamas. Didn't think I'd see you here. So here we are. It's about 8:15 in the morning and we've docked. We've already been cleared and people are already getting off the ship. Our excursion is not until like 11 o'clock, so we're gonna go get some breakfast kind of casually and then head off into the city to maybe get some souvenirs and kind of explore. We haven't been to Nassau since David and I were like 22, 23. So they're building all of these new shops, this whole new port area. This looks like it's going to be some sort of like amphitheater type looking thing. God knows what that's going to be. Maybe some sort of marina. And look at all these like new buildings and new colorful shops that they're building. It's completely under construction. So maybe this time next year it'll be nice and spiffy for everybody watching this. By the time you're here, this will probably be done. This poor bee, I think something's wrong with it. Whoa, don't run around.
I can't hear you. I can't hear myself die over your crying.
I can't hear myself die over your crying. We just watched Downton Abbey, the new movie, in the room. Poor Lady Grantham just died, and everybody was crying, and she was like, I can't hear myself dying over all your weeping.
No spoiler much, but okay.
Yeah, sorry. This ship is packed. It is so packed. I've never seen so many teenagers in my life. Not even at my own high school.
Well, there was like 20 people here.
There's so many little kids, so many teenagers. Like, the demographic of the ship is like largely skewed to be like average age is 21 because there's a lot of school-age children here. I don't remember it being that packed last year or when we sailed in December a few years ago. Cruising is back, baby. Cruising is back. I have never seen the buffet that packed before. It took us 10 circles just to find a table. Granted, we went at like the worst time to go, like at 8:30. That's our fault. Should have gone earlier, but we were just kind of like casually like whatever. Lesson learned. We will not go to the buffet at 8:30. We will go earlier or we will skip. We'll just go to maybe Taste or Savor or something because, boy, didn't film any of it. Did have some delicious eggs Benedict for the buffet. It was actually quite good. The egg was nice and runny. The hollandaise sauce was delicious. So I'm happy that at least breakfast tasted very nice. But it is a madhouse. It is a madhouse up there. It is so busy. just so many people. Kind of quiet corner. I just heard a woman say, "Oh my God, I hate this port so much." And I think it's going to be lovely once they finish that new port area. It'll like getting off the ship and getting through the the pier was a nightmare. There was so many people from all 4 ships, and the construction had like several bottleneck areas, so it was just everyone trying to get out. So that needs to be improved, and I obviously will. It's just because of the construction, but it needs to be improved in the meantime. Right now, there's plenty of shopping, plenty of food, plenty of booze from like big stores like this one, and like little vendors. But whew, it's a lot of people. So this is the line for the Balmoral Island. And it keeps going down there and like hooks around and then hooks around to the side. This half wall is where like it ends. So for like the Balmoral area, like this is like some other resort.
It starts at the pier.
This is what you have. And it starts at the pier, and this place is a fucking dump. Like half the umbrellas are ripped and broken.
Grabbing this one while we can.
There's one shitty bar, one shitty pool, some like a stingray and 4 dolphins that I feel very bad for. There's exactly one bar with one bartender. Very disappointed. And that tugboat they brought us in on was literally being held together by paint. And the sides were bending in as it hit the dock. It was very, very gross. So yeah, the NCL people that we saw come over are like hanging. They're like not working. They came over in their uniforms and had clipboards and stuff like they were gonna be working, but we just saw one of the ladies, and she was actually the lady who sold us these tickets and convinced us to buy this. And she's hanging out in her bathing suit trying to relax. So we're not even gonna ask her. I don't want to bother her. She's off the clock. But she looks pretty disgusted too. We saw her walking around making grimacy faces as well. So we're going to try to sneak back on a shuttle that leaves 2 hours earlier than technically ours, because there's no one like checking tickets and getting off and stuff. We're just gonna throw our Norwegian towels in our bag so no one sees like, oh, you're not on the right boat, because all the boats are obviously right next to each other. And now there's bugs biting us apparently. So 0 out of 10. Negative 10 out of 10. Like, I know we can be like, oh, you guys are so freaking privileged. Look at this beach you're at, or whatever. It's between 2 piers with boats putting exhaust. You have this teeny tiny little area. I don't know if you can see the tiny little area you're allowed to swim in. There's this tiny little area you're allowed to swim in. So, yeah, and the boat coming over here was a hunk of junk, like scrap metal. Like the walls were bending in with the waves and with people's feet just resting on the side. Like the side of your ship boat thing is not supposed to just go like it was literally being held together with paint and like a couple screws. They had some areas of the little boat off limits because a lot of the chairs were kind of like ripped off, and there was like spikes sticking out of them and like nails and screws sticking out of them. And instead of just safe trying to remove them, they're like, oh, we'll just rip that part off. And we reported at 11:15. We didn't even step foot onto the boat until 12 o'clock. It was like 12:05. It did take 30 minutes to get here, but because there was another ship at the dock, they only had one spot. We sat in the water for 20 minutes, going in circles, waiting for the other boat to leave. The boat that we wanted to be on to leave. Yikes, you guys. Yikes. Okay, so there's a group of us that snuck on to the earlier boat because this place was awful.
I had a great time.
So,
10 out of 10.
all of us snuck back on. We all snuck back on. And we even noticed that the NCL people, they also snuck back on. So that's how bad it is. All of us that were hanging out were like, we gotta get out of here. So it wasn't just me and David that were like, man, this place is awful. Like half of the Norwegian people are on this boat getting on. And it's supposed to be per another boat, but everybody fits, so it's fine. We're not taking spots. Like the boat's big enough. Like everybody who wanted to get on is on. So it wasn't just us. We weren't snobby, bougie, stuck-up pricks. There's like 10 people from Norwegian that got on this boat, plus Norwegian's own staff. Oh, and now we just smashed into the pier. Would you describe this as a dumpster fire? But that would be an insult to dumpster fires?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, absolutely.
Yeah, they did not provide the snack.
And water with no gas in it.